Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast, which always gives tips and insights about everyday life. I'm Eric, and I will accompany you in this episode. Our topic today seems very relatable to many people, which is stop wasting money. Who here often regrets after seeing the end-of-month balance? Well, this time, I'm not alone. There's a special guest who is an expert in budgeting and managing daily finances. Come on, let's welcome Jessica. Hi, Jessica.
Hello, Eric. Hello, everyone. Wow, this topic is really exciting. I'm sure many of you can relate to it. Because I also used to often not realize that I had spent money on unimportant things.
So, Jess, you're already known as someone really good at managing finances. Actually, in your opinion, what makes people waste money so often?
In my opinion, Eric, one of the main reasons is impulsiveness. Many people are unaware, often buying something because they want it or there is a discount, not because they need it. In addition, sometimes there are those who lack planning and like to go with the flow.
That's right. Discounts are sometimes the biggest temptation. But if you calculate it, it often increases your expenses. Do you have any tips for reducing impulsive buying of unimportant items?
Definitely. I usually ask myself, do I really need this, or do I just want it? Then if possible, I will wait a day or two before actually buying it. Usually, if I'm no longer impulsive, I'm no longer interested.
So it's like giving yourself a break to think. Speaking of wasting money, in your opinion, what habits most often make people not realize they have wasted money?
One of the most common things is snack food or coffee. Maybe because the nominal amount is small, so we don't feel it. But if you add it up in a month, wow, it could be quite a lot.
Very true. Especially modern coffee. Now you can't escape buying coffee every time you hang out. In your opinion, how do you control habits like that?
For me, I usually set boundaries. For example, you can only buy coffee a maximum of 4 times a month. So I can still enjoy it, but not wastefully. Apart from that, you can also try making your own coffee at home.
Wow, that sounds good. So you can still enjoy it without spending too much money. So Jess, what do you think about streaming subscriptions or paid apps that we often don't realize are sucking up money?
That's also often a source of financial leaks, Eric. Sometimes we don't realize that we're still subscribing to apps that we don't use anymore. That's why I always check every few months to see if the apps I subscribe to are still being used.
That's a good tip. Because if you collect them, subscription fees like that can be quite large. Are there any applications you think can help us track our finances so we are not impulsive?
Yes. I like using budgeting apps like Money Manager or bank apps with budgeting features. They group expenses, so I can see which ones are the biggest and which ones aren't important.
Wow, that's cool. So you don't have to guess anymore. By the way, Jess, in your opinion, how can you still save even though there are sometimes temptations to shop?
I usually use a method called pay yourself first. So before thinking about shopping, I immediately set aside money to save at the beginning of the month. The savings are safe first, and then the rest is for other needs.
That's a great concept too. So if you've saved, we won't feel like the money is available to spend. Can you give an example, Jess, of your last impulsive shopping that you actually didn't really need?
I'll be honest, I bought a cute humidifier that I actually didn't really need. At that time, I saw the advertisement on social media, and I was tempted by it because it was cute, even though I already had it at home.
That happens very often. Tempted by cute items that appear on social media. Maybe you need a strategy so you don't get tempted easily. Any suggestions for that?
I usually unfollow accounts that often offer unnecessary items. So, I don't keep seeing cute items that tempt me.
Smart move. That's so true, so I don't encounter temptations every day. Have you ever invested in or bought something that is more expensive at first, but can save you money in the long run?
Yes. For example, I bought a stainless steel drinking bottle that is more durable. Although the price may be higher, I don't have to buy disposable plastic bottles anymore. so I save money in the long run.
Nice. That's a good example. Now I'm curious. Do you have any tips for managing your travel or vacation budget so you don't go over budget?
I usually make a special budget for vacations, then I use an envelope system. So for example, there are special envelopes for food, transportation, and shopping. If you finish spending money in one envelope, you can't take it from another envelope.
Wow, that's interesting, more controlled. I'm sure many can try that method. Are there any common mistakes people make in managing their budget that you often see?
One of the most common is not separating needs from wants. So sometimes money is spent on buying things that are actually just desires.
That's right. So the point is you have to know your priorities, right? Speaking of priorities, in your opinion, if you want to buy something that is more expensive but of good quality, how do you know when it's worth buying?
I usually look at the frequency of use. If the item will be used every day and can last a long time, I think it's worth investing in. For example, buy better shoes if you're going to wear them every day.
That's great. Focus on quality over quantity. So, if we are stuck with unused items that have already been purchased, do you have any tips for dealing with this?
I usually try to resell the items on a pre-loved platform. In addition to getting money, the item might also be useful for other people.
Smart idea. There are also many popular secondhand goods buying and selling platforms now. So Jess, what is your view on small costs that we often ignore, such as admin fees or bank transfer fees?
We often don't realize these expenses, even though they can be quite a lot if added up over a month. I always try to use services that are free of admin or transfer fees to save more.
That's right. It's very common for small costs to pile up. In your opinion, how can we not be too consumptive with new or trendy items?
One way is by mindful spending. This means that we only buy items that are really needed, not because of trends or just following the crowd.
Good advice, Jess. So be wiser and not easily tempted. So, what is your final message for listeners who want to stop wasting money?
I just want to say, try to be more aware of your spending. Sometimes small habits that we don't realize can have a big impact on our finances.
Wise words, Jessica. I totally agree. Everything starts with awareness. What are some small things we can start doing this week to stop being wasteful?
Start making a list of expenses. Every time you pay for something, just write it down, so you know where your money is going.
Noted. I think that's really easy to practice. Well, Jess, thank you very much for your time. It was so much fun chatting about stopping wasting money with you today.
You're welcome, Eric. I am glad to share, and hopefully, it will be useful for all my fellow listeners.
Thank you for watching. To improve your English skills, don't forget to practice every day. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, and comment.